Okay.
All right,
Great.
here we go. Welcome to Lacking Wisdom with Zach and Zach. Here
You're
again.
lacking
Let's
wisdom.
do it. I was going to say, if you're lacking wisdom, I don't know if this is the right spot to be, but
Yeah.
hey, as long as you ask God after.
Lack with us. Come lack with us.
Come lack.
Question for the day is, should guys care more about modesty? Now, if you're not feeling some kind of emotion in response to that, who are you? Maybe we'll go the direction you think and maybe not. But we talk about this. I think there's a cultural shift that's happening with modesty, but we don't talk about modesty the same way we used to. And I think our generation, like you and I, we're 31, 32, right? I think our generation and younger mostly have a different view of modesty than probably a lot of other people our age, but also like even just those in the church that are like 10 years older, I think probably have a different view of modesty based on just like how our generations were raised. You see that's accurate?
Yep. Yeah, totally.
But I think it's something that's worth talking about specifically for guys, and to our spouses who may or may not listen to this episode. Apologies in advance if I embarrass you.
And we will stick to the guy's perspective because that's really what we know. And I don't know. I don't want to dabble in the other stuff.
Do we even know it? I guess we'll see.
No, I don't know. We'll see. We'll find out. Are we modest?
We're just going to start under topics and questions for modesty. Kind of take it from there. Because this section for topics and questions does not look anything like it did 10 years ago. This is new. It's updated. What it looks like in For Strength of Youth is different. And I think we can do better to talk about modesty in the lens that is written now versus, like, correct me if I'm wrong here. If you talked about modesty 10 years ago, 15 years ago, like the only thing that would be said about modesty is don't wear revealing clothing. And it would be a message specifically directed towards the sisters, towards women and young women. And it would be essentially like a shaming message of dress yourself correctly so that boys don't get inappropriate thoughts.
Yeah. Yes. That's true.
Right?
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, don't be the reason.
Which is ridiculous.
Don't be the reason that they sin. Yeah. Exactly.
There are so many problems with that.
So many problems. I know. Don't clip that and
we're not clipping that. We're not clipping that.
No, I'm telling other people, for the other two people that are watching this.
Yeah, don't clip us.
Don't clip that and make it sound like I'm saying something I'm not.
So, go for it. But you want to dive into what it actually says. So if you haven't already pulled it up, we're just in Gospel Library. If you just search modesty, it'll come up, but it's modesty under topics and questions.
Yep, perfect. Modesty is an attitude of decency and humility in our language, behavior, dress, and grooming. If we are modest, we don't try to bring too much attention to ourselves. Rather, we seek to glorify God.
What a different way to think about it. Like this is awesome, actually. I have never thought about modesty as a way to seek and glorify God. Let's keep reading. Keep going.
Let's do it. Language and behavior. Our language and behavior can be expressions of our character. We can express ourselves through clean, positive, kind, and uplifting language. This is also true of how we address our Heavenly Father in Jesus Christ. One of the 10 Commandments is that we not take the Lord's name in vain. We are also blessed as we try to behave in ways that lift and bless those around us. Our efforts to be modest in what we say and do can lead to more guidance and comfort from the Holy Ghost.
I don't think about that nearly enough, that modesty is also our language and behavior. Anything that sticks out to you from that?
I think that it's nice that it's not so much of a list of don'ts, but principles to follow, right? And clean, positive, kind, uplifting, right? Like I think that also like obviously, there's the swears, which have a time and place.
If you work on a farm, that's
Yeah.
just the language you use.
Uh-huh.
Zero
But
judgment.
again, like that is one of those, like, that's modest speak, modest talk for their circumstances. No, right? It's not our place to judge that. But I think that, like, positive, kind, uplifting, that's something
Yeah.
interesting. That how often do we speak ill of others or speak immodestly of ourselves, right? Not of things that aren't appropriate, right? To
Yeah.
things that we shouldn't be saying to ourselves as
Like
well.
and I feel like there's a pattern here with what it says in each of the different sections, but it's like, does what I say, does how I dress, does how I behave point people towards Christ?
Mm-hmm.
Does it make it about me?
Mm-hmm.
Or does it put others down?
Mm-hmm.
And like you can make it about yourself. It can be a pride thing. I think it's also important to think about, like, if you demean yourself, like, that's not necessarily positive or uplifting either.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, humility isn't like losing your dignity or like calling yourself the worst, and like you don't have to say you're a terrible person or like point to the terrible things that you've done to have modest language. It's more like, are you just a real person who values people and uplifts them while you're around them?
Right. Totally.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's one of those interesting things. Let's see, down underneath the dress and grooming, where it talks about for the strength of youth. It says Heavenly Father wants us to see each other for who we really are, not just physical bodies, but His beloved children with a divine destiny. And I think that, I mean, obviously that ties in for words and everything that way too. That So yeah, like we have a divine destiny. Like we are people that stand for something, that, like, we're inheriting the kingdom of God, right? And that's pretty cool. And just being able to think of, like, yeah, who we really are. And I think that before this, we were kind of talking about our growing up and things like that through high school and things that way. I think that, for any of those young listeners out there, I think there's a point probably in middle school when kids start to swear, that to do it because they think it looks cool. Right.
Do it and you're cool because it sounds
Right.
cool.
Uh-huh.
It's cool to be the bad boy.
Right. But it's not who you really are, right? That's not the right expression of who you are. So, yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong with having a nice little swearing phase too, though. I think we could probably care a little less about it and make less of a big deal about kids or teenagers cursing, and instead just like show them the example and talk the way we expect them to talk. And then they might let go of that shame and just make the change because they realize that they're just being childish.
Yeah. If I agree.
Have you ever read To Kill a Mockingbird?
Yeah, absolutely.
Great
It's a
book.
high school mandatory read.
Big fan. Banned book in a lot of states.
Is it now?
Yeah, straight up.
Jeez.
Lots of states.
In Utah?
Mostly southern states. I don't think it's banned in Utah. Pretty sure it's still on the list.
Say we read it in high school.
Yeah, but Scout is going through her young cursing phase in the book. I still remember reading in high school, like reading that and just thinking like, oh my gosh, this is so inappropriate. What is this book that we're reading about this young kid cursing?
Yeah.
And I actually think the attitude of the adult, the family, was it father and it's Atticus, and I don't know his wife's name, but they're just like, oh yeah, like Scout's, it's like, it's just a face, Like they'll say the words until they get tired of them, and then they'll realize that's not how educated people talk, or how like people who respect themselves talk, and they'll stop using them. And I think there's a lot to learn from that, and I think that's a cool take on modest language, where there's a time for correction and how you correct that helps make it easier for others to make change. And I think with things like language, there's nothing better, especially as adults. Like, can you imagine trying to correct another adult's language? Like it's laughable. But nothing causes change faster than treating people like children of God, and just loving them as children of God, and trying to just do good by them, right?
Yeah.
I feel like I should also put out there that I absolutely curse sometimes, and sometimes I think it's super funny.
Agreed. I will say, in high school, I can count the number of times I swore in high school on my hand, on one hand.
Me too. Yeah.
Like, that was like a nothing.
Yeah.
Like, never say anything inappropriate. And then a lot of it kind of got bottled up. And then I started getting into running, and then now I'm cursing at all the hills that are out there. But
me, it's usually cursing because of my kids and hoping they can't hear
it. Yeah.
But
and then but I do think that it's interesting, even again, not so much just like the curse words and things like that, but I think that, like, just immodest, just not talking to yourself correctly. Like, I even think of how easy it is for, again, speaking from the male side, of between, I think it's the ages between like 18 and 30 or something like that. It's kind of like the most suicidal time or like when most suicides typically happen for males. I think because of such negative self-talk that happens a lot. And I could probably throw in immodest talk, right?
Totally.
Of ourselves, and not speaking of who we are, and what's not a reflection of us, and getting and having our minds be in places where they shouldn't be. Again, different kind of modest, right? Than like what's traditionally thought of. But I think I think there's a dangerous place that a lot of people go to, of a lot of negative self-talk that's super immodest about themselves.
Yeah.
Because I've been there. Like, that's like, when you think about language, like, that's sometimes I'd take a curse word over a negative word that puts someone down any day.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's probably more uplifting to get a curse word out of your system than to talk down to yourself and to say, like, because you build beliefs as you repeat like negative things about yourself that drag you down, right? Like, if you say like, I suck, like, I'm the worst, nobody likes me, man, what a powerful weight that holds, that just makes you sink. Whereas, like, I'm a child of God and I'm learning, I can do hard things. With God, I have the power to accomplish whatever's important to me. Like, it's pretty different, right?
Yeah, totally different.
And it's also different. Like, modest talk isn't prideful talk as well.
Yep.
Same with how we dress.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like we need to get into the dress stuff, because this is the fun stuff. And specifically to the question that we started this off with is,
should guys care about modesty more?
Yeah, exactly. Should guys care about modesty more? So, following where I was at in after that, for the strength of youth quote, dressing modestly, which includes avoiding styles that emphasize or draw inappropriate attention to our physical body, can help us see ourselves as children of God and focus on things that are eternally important. So Zach, do I need to stop wearing cutoffs at the gym? Can I wear my spandex shorts and run shirtless? Because I kind of like that.
I mean,
maybe you do too. I don't know.
yeah, maybe I do too. I think the answer, I'm not going to answer those questions, but I am going to answer the question that I initially asked that we're talking about. Should guys care about modesty more? And the answer is yes, but only about your own modesty. And I think judgment about others' modesty, you should, if you're going to judge others based on their outward appearance or their language or anything, keep it in your head and recognize your own pride. And accept that people can make their own choices. Like I think some of the most damaging teachings that our generation and generations before us have grown up with in the church, I think some of the most damaging teachings have been shame around how modesty correlates with chastity. And we mentioned it earlier, but it's worth just like pointing out modesty should be about how we carry ourselves and whether it's uplifting for others and helping them like be more like Christ, or whether it is self-centered and makes it all about me. And you can determine that for yourself. And it's not a choice you can make for others. And you can love others and act and dress modestly regardless of the choices that others make. And I think it's that those that are judging others, like, are you actually upset at them for their choice? Or are you jealous that they're dressing in a way or speaking in a way or carrying themselves in a way that you wish you could?
So when I'm running shirtless in my spandex shorts,
jealous.
Maybe that's me being modest. Maybe that's me being modest. Giving glory.
If my wife ever listens, I have these 3-inch cutoff running shorts with the American flag on it. My brother got them for me. I am going to wear them for a run at some point.
4th of July run?
4th of July run?
Ayo. Might need to do that.
Yeah, but we'll see. We'll see.
But I guess doing a little pivot with that is hard pivot. No, with the clothes, and I think that if we're looking at it scripturally, there's very little scripture that talks about clothing and modesty and clothing and modesty. It's not even necessarily like do's and don'ts. It's all along the lines of
like what did Jesus say about modesty?
Right. Well, yep. Or like Doctrine and Covenants, thou shalt not be proud in thy heart. Let all thy garments be plain, and their beauty, the beauty of the work of thine own hands. Right. So it's interesting that it says thou shalt not be proud in thy heart ahead of, right, talking about clothes.
Ouch.
Right. So, hey, where's your heart? It's Christ teaches not to be overly consumed with clothing and outward concerns. Just like that's not the worry, right? It's how's the heart, how's the soul. If we take a look at the Book of Mormon, Moroni, in Mormon, chapter 8, he says, "You do love money and your substance and your fine apparel," right? Like, is our heart ahead of that, right? And this is where I think, I'll be honest, that I think that this is where guys struggle a lot, especially in a church setting, is the fine apparel that they wear.
Absolutely.
I do love a good looking suit. Like, yeah, great. But is what we're wearing, and are you wearing the suit out of pride, out of substance, out of wanting to look better than others? Or is it truly just, yeah, your Sunday best, right? Obviously you want to look good, feel good. Like, I get that. But what's your intention behind what you wear at church? Especially at church, right?
Yeah. Ouch. I can definitely remember a time recently when I got like a new Sunday shirt that was really expensive. It was really, really nice. It's a really nice white shirt and it's crazy comfy. You would not believe how comfy it is.
Wow.
I put it on to go to church, and one of the thoughts that went through my mind was like, I hope somebody sees how nice my shirt is and asks about it. And I'm kind of embarrassed to admit that, but
hey,
like,
that's okay. That's a basic human need and want.
Yeah.
It's okay, Zach. Yeah. When I go and watch you talk this Sunday, I'll say, hey, nice shirt.
Thanks, man. I need that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't need that, but I will appreciate it a ton. I'll appreciate it a ton.
But I do think that's something interesting, right? Is like go to a YSA ward back in college. How many door-to-door sales bros are rocking their most recent commission check, right? Like, where's the modesty, right? And is that something we should be thinking about more than just how much or how little skin we're showing, right?
Yeah.
It's what's the appearance? Is it humble follower of Christ, or is it all about me?
Well, and I mean, it's a little ridiculous that we're talking about this in the first place. Like, we're coming at this from such a place of privilege, like both being men, where clothing modesty has never been a real requirement for us. Like, no one's ever actually cared. Like you take off your shirt to go running, and like most people aren't going to think a single thing about it. It's not something we have to worry about.
Mm-hmm.
And like we can't say the same for like our wives or our like the sisters around us, that they have to think about it. They have to think like, who's going to judge me for what I'm going to wear? And no matter how good their intentions are, like that's something they have to worry about because of the culture of how we've been brought up. And I think there's something powerful about, like you said, it's the intention. It's a little less about what we choose to wear and more about like how the choices of how we present ourselves uplift others or point and say, it's all about me. And again, it only works if we're judging our own modesty. Like, you cannot judge someone else's modesty except to say, like, it wouldn't work for me to do or say or wear what they're saying, because for me, it would be all about me. And what we have to say is, maybe it's not that way for them. Maybe I'm just jealous and I wish that I could confidently do or say or wear what they're wearing.
Yeah. Yep. Well, especially maybe if we interview someone from Europe, different cultural background, or just like Daniel could come join and he could just have an accent. I bet he'd be convincing. He'd be great. He'd be great out there. But that's just one of those, like, culturally, like, like so many things are less sexualized a lot of times over there. Right? And especially here in Utah, everything has to be sexualized, right? Like, we have to put that context on it, whether that's the intent or not, right?
Yeah.
Of someone is that unfortunately gets put on there. And so quick to judge versus it just is, right? Yeah. Like, oh,
yeah,
hey,
it just is.
That person's wearing that. It's like, okay, cool. That's great.
Can you go be with people that might dress or talk in a way that you wouldn't, and then not comment on it when you're with your spouse or with your friends? Like, do you feel like you have to take note of what they were wearing? Like, maybe that's on you, you know? Or maybe you're just jealous. Sometimes I'll see what someone else is wearing and I'll be like, man, I wish I was wearing that. That looks comfy.
Did you get those abs with those shorts, or
yeah, Did the 6-pack come with that?
Do they have that in a large? Maybe extra large.
I think it's also like, if you look at what Jesus said, that might be construed as something about modesty as well.
Mm.
Like if you go into Gospel of Matthew, Jesus says, "What sorrow awaits you, teachers of religious law, and you Pharisees, hypocrites! For you are so careful to clean the outside of the cup and the dish, but inside you are filthy, full of greed and self-indulgence. You blind Pharisee, first wash the inside of the cup and the dish, and then the outside will become clean too. What sorrow awaits you, teachers of religious law, and you Pharisees, hypocrites! For you are like whitewashed tombs, beautiful on the outside, but filled on the inside with dead people's bones and all sorts of impurity. Outwardly, you look like righteous people, but inwardly your hearts are filled with hypocrisy and lawlessness." What a call out.
What's your takeaway from that? Yeah.
What's my takeaway?
Yeah, from that scripture.
Yeah, I mean, my takeaway, he's talking about, especially the first part, like cleaning the outside of the cup and the inside remains filthy. It's like, does the way you conduct yourself, like, are you putting on a facade to hide something that you're ashamed about?
Mm-hmm.
Like, are you so prideful or afraid or think you can hide or ignore like who you are so much that you feel like you have to pretend?
Mm-hmm.
And like, are you doing it for the right reasons? Like, can you honestly say you conduct yourself and dress and talk and act in a way that like you're proud of and that you think you'd be proud of if you were talking with Jesus about it? Or can you look inside and see that maybe part of it's an act?
Mm-hmm.
And if it's an act because you're scared to acknowledge some of your weaknesses and who you are, like, that's between you and Christ. But if you recognize that someone else seems to be acting, let Jesus be in charge of that. Like, we're all acting a little bit. Like, the best people that you know have things that they're frustrated about and worried about and embarrassed about. And we want you for you. We don't want you for the way that you talk or for how you dress or like how much money we think you have or don't have.
Right.
And if you feel like your friends and peers like you more or less because of the way that you conduct yourself, that you have to put on a facade, like, oh, you have to wear the nice things, or you have to keep up with the latest style in order to feel comfortable with them, maybe they're not actually the best friends that will support you. I have to say, like even in my adult life, I feel like I've had some experiences like this. And we kind of, I mean, we talked about this earlier, but I spent most of my time growing up, and honestly, a good chunk of time as an adult, and maybe I do this a little bit still, but just like trying to have some kind of status. I just wanted people to recognize me and congratulate me, and to tend to be praised or seen as cool or as good, and to be valued. So I went to the groups, like I was in a bunch of different groups wherever I could find that praise and approval. And as an adult, like I've realized at different points, like, oh my goodness, I feel like I actually have to be a different person. Like I have to be a little bit not myself in order to feel like I'm in with some of these people that I'm spending time with. And luckily life has worked out that I have different friends now, but it's
It's an
not
interesting
easy.
take. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Well,
Not where I thought I'd go to on the modesty conversation, but here we are.
yeah. Well, actually, it reminds me something that my mission president always talked about. Shout out President Sister Henderson. Thanks for your service. Elder Uchtdorf, when he gave him the call, told him, "You're being called for you. You're not being called to change who you are. Like, you don't have to change who you are, how you come across." And President Henderson, he is a great example of status not mattering. Like, at least just from my interactions with him, like it like, obviously, and maybe he'll correct me. I'll give him a call and he'll correct me on that. But it always was one of those, like, he wanted to do what's right where he was at, right, and what he was doing, and it never was about status. It was just, I'm here and I can help, and what do you need, you know? And he, yeah, throughout most of his callings in the church were in scouts. That's just what he did. And then
Nice.
him and his wife got called on a mission, and then they got their call to be mission leaders while on their mission. And so
That's so cool.
it's just one of those, like, yeah, they just a true example of, like, of that modesty of, like, hey, like, you don't need to necessarily live for flash things. Like, you can have nice things. That's not that's not it. It's just more of, is it more for the flash and the praise? And that's actually something culturally that I find hilarious too, is with nice name brand things, like with your Gucci's and things like that. The most expensive end of that, they don't, like, they have either really very small logos or no logos on them, because it just is nice. Where a lot of, like, their low end stuff is loud with all their logos and stuff to try and make that status come across is big. And so, yeah, I always find that is interesting. I don't know how that's relevant, but
No, that's
I was just
totally
thinking
relevant.
that's,
Modesty.
yeah, like with, yeah.
You say that, and I think about a guy that I met on my mission that I still just, like, I look up to so much.
Mm-hmm.
He's this old dude in his 80s,
Yep.
and he was the patriarch of the stake. He was the president of Aflac. He had money. President of Aflac in Japan. The guy
Wow.
was very wealthy. And, the missionaries liked to hang around him and invite him to lessons because, like, he would take us out for sushi after doing lessons. That was sweet.
Yeah.
Love
Sweet.
members treating us to food. I still remember this gentleman that I met near the end of my mission who was homeless. He didn't smell great. He had just a horrible addiction to nicotine. Just always smoking. Always smelled terribly of smoke. And we met him on the street, and we said something very normal for missionaries to say. We, like, complimented him. We're just like, nice shirt. Like, that's awesome. He, like, brightened up and then ended up talking with us. Incredibly intelligent dude. Like, very, very, very smart guy. Had a lot of difficult things that happened to him in his life that resulted in him being homeless and without real family. And he accepted the invitation to church. Like, we showed him on the map where it was. He remembered. He showed up. And, president of Aflac, you can use a lot of titles for this guy, but he had a lot of prowess that he could lean on. This member of the ward that I mentioned, he comes through the door and is so excited to meet this homeless man and welcome him into the church. And despite how bad he smelt and how socially unaware he was, we call it kooky yomenai, like, can't read the atmosphere. He was Christ-like for this guy, and he could not care less that he was showing up and was kind of strange and didn't smell good and all that. and he like took time to drive this guy around to different places, and the guy was sometimes unreliable.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're talking about examples of modesty, of like if modesty is about, let me pull this up again, an attitude of decency and humility in our language, behavior, dress, and grooming, where we seek to glorify God and not bring too much attention to ourselves. That's it. I think it comes off in the way we treat others and see them as humans, see them as children of God. And if our intentions are there, like what we actually wear, whether you choose to run in your spandex shirtless, or whatever, I think if your intention is like to bring glory to yourself, that's one thing. If it's function and like form over like look, it's not in your mind, and like you're seeking to glorify God in your efforts of challenging your body, who cares? I feel like the more I go down that route of saying what's okay and what's not okay to wear is just going to continue to get closer to embarrassing myself or my
We'll
spouse.
stay away from that. Yeah, we'll stay away.
We'll just leave it at that. Yeah.
No, that's great. And yeah, again, I think that's the important part, right? And I think you hit it on the head. Is let's focus not so much on the outwardly appearance, but what's in the heart, right? That's what Christ teaches, is costly peril, but what's on their heart. And I think that if we're doing that, then you are finding those people that you want to be around. You are finding those friends that are worth keeping around, right? And if you're always having to play the keep up game, that's an exhausting life. Not a fulfilling life, right? Yeah, it's one that takes your mind off of the ball, right? Like it takes your mind off Christ, and they can distract you. And don't want to get too personal, I guess, but patriarchal blessing, the something that's in mine is it's to be watchful of the fads and fashions of your time for their distraction to young people. And I've always kind of taken that as like yeah, like obviously present myself nice and make sure I'm put together, so I'm not just a bum and things that way, because you still want to. I don't want to draw too much attention the other way, right? Of all attention needs to go to God, but at the same time, like if we're getting caught up in the fashions and fads and all that stuff, then it's just stuff that dust and moth corrupt, right? And you don't take it with you, and it won't. It's nothing of substance, right?
Dress appropriately for the occasion, so you don't draw attention to yourself, but have the ability to just be a friend for the friend that needs it. That's really cool. Mine does not say anything about fads or fashions or clothing or modesty. Any other thoughts on like, you have any other modesty related things that we can talk about without embarrassing ourselves and our families?
Yeah, I don't want to embarrass too much or at all. I think we need to care about modesty in the sense of like, especially as guys, like where are we looking to direct eyes, right? And that it's about us. It has nothing to do with anyone else. It's all about us, and we get to use our agency that way, right? And I think that's something fun to recognize as well, is that other people are using their agency to dress to what they feel is modest.
Yeah.
Right. And they're testing waters and trying new things out, right? So
yeah,
again, it's all up to them, and that's the fun part with agencies. We get to choose, right? And we get to decide, and we get a test, we get to see what's good, what's not, but until you know, you don't, you know.
Okay, we'll say this that should be said that we haven't spoken about at all. If modesty is an attitude of decency and humility that applies to our dress, a lackadaisical approach or not caring approach to our dress and language is also distracting from, like, will bring attention. So, like, if you also just don't care enough about dressing yourself to, like, dressing for the occasion, if you will, if you kind of dress like a bum because you don't care, or you smell and you're not keeping up with your personal hygiene, I think a message guys can get maybe a little more is if you're not thinking about your personal hygiene enough to care, I would call that immodest. And you can do yourself a big favor, as well as anyone around you, by caring enough about your personal hygiene and like how you carry yourself, so that it doesn't distract or make it unpleasant to be around you as well. Right? Obviously, again, this is an internal thing. Like, you can't judge someone else off of it, but care enough to try, and don't care so much that it's all about you.
Yep. Right. Absolutely. And yeah, I'll just say it, from two vanilla dudes, if if you say that we're pretty boring in our style and appearance, why, thank you. Trying to be modest around here. But I still will compliment your shirt on Sunday when I see it. And
Thank you.
And say, hey, that's a great
I'm,
looking shirt.
I'm really proud of that shirt. It's really comfy.
As you should be.
I want you to be jealous of my white shirt.
No, that'll be too distracting during your talk. Don't want to do that.
Should I wear a long sleeve so that people aren't looking at my incredibly white arms? I realized in church the other Sunday that I was the only person I could see wearing a short sleeve white shirt. And I got self-conscious for like 2 seconds, and I was like, oh yeah, actually it doesn't matter. It's fine.
Oh yeah, it doesn't matter. All right. No, you should wear it.
All right.
You look great. So,
thank you.
Be good. But no, I again, I think the cool part with all this, if you're lacking wisdom, if you're lacking in not knowing what modesty is, or struggling with cultural things and what's been said in the past, if you feel hurt or anything like that with previous modesty things, or with what someone has said, always remember, ask God. Like, that's where the wisdom's at. And also feel free to use your agency. Test it out. See what works, see what doesn't work, and be patient with you and those around you. And it's everyone's first time on earth. Yeah. It's everyone's first time on earth. We're all figuring it out. So have some grace and be modest. Anything else?
We'll see you next time.
Yeah, we'll see you next time.